Welcome to this Saturday Travel and History Tip, and this is Central Coast Part 2. If you haven't watched Central Coast Part 1, I want to encourage you to do that. We took you from Carmel to this locale. It's Nepenthe, one of the most famous restaurants along the Big Sur, and we had a wonderful lunch there, although it is very expensive. I do recommend the famous Ambrosia Burger. After having lunch there, we popped on over across the Santa Lucia Range, and as I'd mentioned, we took the long road over to Mission San Antonio de Padal. That was in Missions Part 3. You'll have to go back to that Saturday Travel and History Tip. Continuing down the Central Coast today, we come to what is technically the bottom of the Big Sur, and it is where the elephant seal's rookery can be found. And we did a whole nugget on the elephant seals, and that's nugget 287. Across from where these elephant seals are is the famous Hearst Castle of William Randolph Hearst. We chose, instead of going to Hearst Castle, we went to Nitwit Ridge, which is an off-the-beaten-path place. It is one of California's remarkable 20th century folk art environments. It is the creation of Arthur Harold Beale, or known as Captain Nitwit, a Cambria Pines pioneer who sculpted the land using hand tools and indigenous materials. Remarkable inventiveness and self-taught skills, a blend of native materials and contemporary elements, impressive in its sheer mass and meticulous placement. It is a revealing memorial to art's unique cosmic humor and a zest for life. And what did all that mean? Well, it's Arthur Beale's beautifully bizarre Nitwit Ridge. It's a handsome cement structure lovingly built by Captain Nitwit. The construction began in 1928 with a one-room shack architecturally enhanced with leftover construction cement, abalone shells, glass, discarded car parts, beer cans, bones, driftwood, feathers, and rock. We dialed the number but never could get anyone to answer us so that we could take a tour of Nitwit Ridge. You'll just have to take your chances and maybe call the phone number on the screen. Traveling further south is Morro Rock. We parked in the large parking lot at this big rock. Morro Rock was an important mariner's navigational landfall for over 800 years. Chronicled in the diaries of Portalo, Father Crespi, and Constance. In 1769, they camped near this area on their trek to Monterey, sometimes called the Gibraltar of the Pacific. It is the last in the fabulous chain of 9 peaks which start in the city of San Luis Obispo. Morrow State Park blends rich history and unique beauty with diverse resources, from Morro Rock to a nationally recognized estuary teeming with life. It became a popular tourist destination beginning in the 1890s. It is a sight to see. Just south of the Sandspit at Morro Bay is Montana de Oro State Park, and this is where we spent more time. The name, derived from the Spanish words meaning mountain of gold, is particularly apt in spring when the hills are ablaze with yellow and orange wildflowers. Any time of year, this 10,000-acre preserve is a hiker's paradise with abundant wildlife and superb winter whale watching along the 5-mile shoreline. The frequently empty beaches are dotted with tide pools, and that's what we chose to do. It was a very cool and windy day, but we went tide pooling and got caught by high tide. We only saw a few other people up on top on the hiking trails, but not another soul along the beach. In our next Saturday Travel and History Tip, we're going to take you tide pooling from the Inside Passage of Alaska to San Diego, California. You won't want to miss that. Especially if you've never been tide pooling, I'm sure this will pique and whet your interest. In Missions Part 3, we took you to San Luis Obispo Mission, but there's one other really unique thing in that city. It's the Motel Inn Restaurant and Lounge. It is the first motel in the world. See what remains of the world's first motel. It's located on Monterey Street in San Luis Obispo. The Motel Inn opened December 12, 1925. Since it took over 2 days to travel between San Francisco and Los Angeles, an overnight stay somewhere along the way was required. The milestone Motel would fill the niche between a campground and a hotel. Privacy coupled with affordability. Rooms originally cost $1.25 each. Only a portion of the original buildings remain, including the mission-style bell tower. Dropping down to Pismo Beach and Arroyo Grande, we stopped in for lunch at Chacho's Mexican Food and had a scrumptious burrito. We also went to the Pismo Beach State Butterfly Grove just before sunset, which we enjoyed at Pismo Beach. It is a nice family beach. Continuing down the Central Coast, you can also reach what was once once called Neverland Ranch. Visitors may not enter Neverland Ranch, but this does not discourage fans from decorating anything and everything that they can at the entrance to Michael Jackson's one-time famous amusement park ranch. The entrance is a makeshift memorial. On Figueroa Mountain Road in the mountainside outside of Los Olivos, Jackson named the 3,000-acre Neverland Ranch after Peter Pan's Fantasy Island. Jackson discontinued going to the ranch in 2003. His family had planned to bury him there. We did go to his grave, though, in Evergreen Cemetery in Highland Park, north of Detroit. Motown purchased his tombstone, which reads, songwriter, singer, producer, dancer, choreographer, humanitarian, Jackson 5 member, soloist, 13 #1 singles, 13 Grammys, 197 awards, and 37 top 40 hits, rock and roll Hall of Famer, and Motown legend, gone too soon. Several of the rides that Jackson once had at Neverland Ranch to entertain guests are featured attractions at the California State Fair in Sacramento. Jackson's estate had owned the majority interest in the property, but in 2020, one of Jackson's family friends purchased the estate. The day we visited, 2 ladies from Russia were decorating a portion of the fence line. We placed our initials on a glass pane of a light on the gate. In Nuggets 285 and Nugget 286, we took you to Lompoc, into the museum, and the chalk cliffs of Lompoc. And Lompoc is the home of Vandenberg Air Force Base. In California Missions Part 4, we stopped off and took you to Pea Soup Anderson's, one of the most famous restaurants in the region, for, of course, a bowl of pea soup. When you're in a special region or out on vacation, find where the locals go, or find where is a famous restaurant and ask them what is their specialty. It's always fun to find out what that would be, and enjoy something weird like pea soup. American history. Learn it. Love it. Appreciate it. Don't let them steal our history. Share our American history. Hope you watched the Saturday Travel and History Tips. I've reminded you of a number of nuggets and other Saturday travel tips that if you haven't watched, I hope you go back and do just that. If you appreciate our content, tell others and repost on your social platforms. And remember, next week we're going tide pooling. Thank you.